Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with that sharp, twisting pain in your calf that makes you wonder what you did to deserve it? Or maybe you've noticed that standing up after sitting for a while feels like your legs are staging a little protest, stiff, shaky, or just not as steady as they used to be. If that sounds familiar, I'm right there with you, and so are a lot of folks over 60. Our legs have carried us through so much, decades of walking, dancing, chasing kids or grandkids, and they deserve a little extra love as we go. But here's the thing, those cramps and that weakness don't have to be your new normal. With a few simple habits, you can keep your legs strong, kick those cramps to the curb, and feel more like yourself again. I used to think leg cramps were just something I had to live with like a badge of honor for making it this far. But then I started digging into what's really going on, and it turns out our legs need a bit more attention as we age. Muscles can lose some of their oomph, circulation slows down a tad, and things like dehydration or sitting too long can throw everything off. It's not about getting old, it's about giving our bodies what they need to keep up with us. That's why today, I'm so excited to share 5 daily habits that can make a real difference for your legs. These aren't big, complicated changes. They're easy, practical things you can start doing right now to stay steady and strong. So let's jump in and talk about the first one, because it's something we all need and sometimes forget. Water. I know it sounds so basic, right? But hear me out. Staying hydrated is like giving your legs a lifeline. You'd be amazed how much those cramps and that heaviness can come from not drinking enough. Our muscles are mostly water, and when we're low they get cranky, tightening up, cramping, or just feeling tired. As we get into our 60s and beyond, our sense of thirst can dull a bit, so we might not even realize we're running on empty. And if you're like me, busy with grandkids or puttering around the house, it's easy to let hours slip by without a sip. But keeping a glass of water nearby can change everything. It keeps your blood flowing smoothly, delivering oxygen to your leg muscles so they don't seize up on you. Now, I'm not saying you need to chug gallons, just aim for a steady trickle throughout the day. I keep a pretty pitcher on my counter with a few slices of lemon or cucumber. It makes it feel a little special, and I'm more likely to reach for it. My friend Joan swears by setting a little reminder on her phone every couple of hours to take a few sips. She says her legs haven't cramped up at night since she started. If plain water isn't your thing, herbal tea or even a splash of juice in there works too. Just keep it coming. Think of it like watering a garden. Your legs are the flowers, and they'll perk right up with a little care. It's such a small habit, but it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. Speaking of foundations, let's move on to something you can do while you're sitting in your favorite chair, stretching. I used to think stretching was just for athletes or yoga folks, but it's turned into my secret weapon for keeping my legs happy. As we age, our muscles can get tight, and that stiffness makes them more prone to cramps or weakness. But a few gentle stretches every day can loosen things up and remind your legs they've still got some life in them. It's not about bending yourself into a pretzel. It's about giving your muscles a little wake-up call so they stay flexible and strong. Here's what I do, and it's so easy you can try it right now. While I'm watching TV, I sit up straight, stretch one leg out in front of me, and point my toes toward the ceiling. I hold it for about 20 seconds, just long enough to feel a nice little pull in my calf, then switch sides. Or if I'm standing at the counter, I'll lean forward with my hands on the edge and push my heels down, stretching out the back of my legs. It feels so good, like I'm shaking off the cobwebs. My neighbor Bill started doing this after dinner every night, and he says he can walk his dog around the block without that achy feeling creeping in. You don't need a gym or fancy gear, just a minute or two whenever you think of it. It's like a mini massage for your legs, keeping those cramps at bay and building strength without even breaking a sweat. So, we've got water keeping everything flowing and stretching waking up those muscles, 2 habits that are already setting your legs up to feel better. But there's more to this story, because what you do with your day can take this even further. Let's talk about that next, because it's all about keeping the momentum going. So, we've got water and stretching in our back pocket, 2 simple habits that are already giving your legs a fighting chance to stay strong and cramp-free. It's funny how the little things can start to shift how you feel, isn't it? Just sipping water throughout the day and stretching out those calves can make your legs feel less like they're dragging and more like they're ready to carry you wherever you want to go. But let's keep the good vibes rolling, because there's another habit that's just as easy and can really build on what we've started. It's all about moving a little more, not in a big, exhausting way, but in a way that feels natural and keeps your legs happy. Let's talk about walking, Not marathons or power hikes, just gentle, everyday steps. I know what you might be thinking. Walking? That's it. But trust me, it's like gold for your legs. As we get into our 60s and beyond, sitting too long can make our muscles stiffen up and our circulation slow down, and that's when cramps and weakness start sneaking in. A little walk, even just around your living room or out to the mailbox, gets your blood pumping and your muscles working. It's like telling your legs, hey, we're still in this together. And the best part, it doesn't have to be a chore. You're not training for anything. You're just keeping things loose and strong. Now, I'm not saying you need to clock miles every day. Start where you are. If you're comfy with it, try a 5-minute stroll after breakfast, maybe around your yard or down the hall. I started doing that a while back, just pacing around my kitchen while my coffee brewed, and I swear my legs feel lighter for it. My friend Margaret takes her little dog out for a lap around the driveway, and she says it's cut down on those nighttime cramps she used to dread. If getting outside isn't your thing, walk in place while you're brushing your teeth or chatting on the phone. It's not about speed or distance, it's about keeping the rust off. And if your legs are feeling extra stiff, take it slow, maybe lean on a chair or a wall for a bit of support. The point is to move a little every day, because that's what keeps your muscles from giving up on you. And while we're on the subject of keeping things moving, let's talk about something you can do without even leaving your seat: ankle circles. This one's so simple it almost feels like cheating, but it's a game changer for your legs. You know those times when your calves feel tight, or you get that restless feeling after sitting for a while? Ankle circles are like a mini workout that wakes everything up. They boost circulation, loosen up your joints, and help your muscles stay flexible. All things that keep cramps at bay and strength in place. Plus, you can do them anywhere, watching TV, reading the paper, even waiting for your tea to steep. Here's how it works. Sit back, lift one foot off the ground, and just roll your ankle around in a circle, like you're drawing a little loop with your toes. Do it 5 times one way, then switch directions, and swap to the other foot. I started doing this during commercials, and it's become my little habit. I don't even think about it anymore. My neighbor Ed, who's 68, does them at his desk while he's paying bills, and he says his legs don't lock up like they used to when he stands up. It's such a small move, but it's like oiling a hinge. Everything works smoother afterward. And if you pair it with that walking we talked about, you're giving your legs a 1-2 punch of care that keeps them strong and steady. What I love about these 2 habits is how they fit into your day without asking too much. A short walk here, a few ankle circles there. It's not about turning your life upside down. It's about sneaking in these little moments that add up to feeling better. My cousin Linda started walking to her garden every morning instead of just looking at it from the window, and she says her legs feel like they've got more pep now. She even added ankle circles while she waters her plants. Talk about multitasking. It's all about finding what clicks for you, because when it's easy, you're more likely to stick with it. So we've got walking keeping your muscles engaged and ankle circles keeping them loose. 2 more pieces of the puzzle that build on the water and stretching we started with. Your legs are already getting the message that you're not letting them slow you down. But there's one more habit that's going to tie it all together, and it's something you might not expect. Let's dive into that next, because it's the cherry on top of keeping your legs strong and cramp-free. So we've got water, stretching, walking, and ankle circles all working together like a little team to keep your legs strong and those pesky cramps at bay. It's amazing how these small habits can start to feel like second nature, isn't it? Just sipping water throughout the day, stretching out your calves, taking a short stroll, and rolling your ankles. They're not big leaps, but they're adding up to legs that feel steadier and more reliable. And that's what this is all about, giving your legs the care they deserve so you can keep doing the things you love, whether it's pottering around the house, visiting friends, or just enjoying a quiet moment without that tight, achy feeling creeping in. But there's one more habit I want to share with you, and it's going to bring everything full circle in the simplest, coziest way. Let's talk about warming up your legs, literally. I'm not saying you need to run out and buy a fancy heating pad, though those are nice. This is about using a little warmth to keep your muscles happy and relaxed, especially if you're prone to cramps or stiffness. As we get into our 60s and beyond, our circulation can slow down a bit, and cold muscles are more likely to tighten up or protest when you ask them to move. A touch of warmth boosts blood flow, loosens things up, and makes your legs feel like they're getting a gentle hug. It's such an easy habit to weave into your day, and it can make all the difference, especially on those chilly mornings or after you've been sitting for a while. Here's how I do it. and it's so simple you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. After I get up, I grab a warm washcloth, nothing fancy, just run it under hot water for a minute, and drape it over my calves while I sip my coffee. It takes maybe 5 minutes, and my legs feel awake and ready to go. Or if I've been sitting watching TV for too long, I'll tuck a hot water bottle against my legs. It's like a little treat that keeps the stiffness away. My friend Doris swears by soaking her feet in a basin of warm water every evening. She adds a handful of Epsom salt for extra relaxation, and she says her cramps have practically vanished. If you've got a microwave, you can even heat up a sock filled with rice for a quick, homemade heat pack. It's all about what feels good to you. Warmth is your ally here, keeping those muscles loose and your blood moving. And here's the best part. This habit plays so nicely with everything else we've talked about. Think about it. When you're sipping water all day, your muscles are hydrated and ready to soak up that warmth. Stretching and walking keep them active, and ankle circles loosen them up, so the heat can sink in deep and do its job. It's like the final touch that makes your legs say, "Thank you." I started doing this after a long day of gardening last fall, and I couldn't believe how much lighter my legs felt the next morning. No cramps, no soreness, just a little more spring in my step. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about giving your legs a steady dose of care that builds up over time. Now picture this. You're going through your day with these habits in your toolkit. You start with a glass of water and a quick stretch. Take a little walk to the mailbox. Roll your ankles while you're waiting for the kettle, and end with a warm cloth on your legs while you unwind. It's not a big production. It's just you living your life with a few tweaks that keep your legs strong and those cramps on the run. My neighbor Frank, who's 71, told me he started warming his legs before bed and hasn't woken up with a cramp in weeks. He pairs it with a short walk around his living room, and he says he feels like he's got his old legs back. That's what I want for you, small changes that add up to big wins. What's so great about all this water, stretching, walking, ankle circles, and a bit of warmth is how it fits into your world. You don't need to overhaul your routine or spend a fortune. It's about meeting yourself where you are, with habits that feel good and keep you moving. And when you string them together, they're like a quiet promise to your legs that you're not giving up on them. You're keeping them strong, steady, and ready for whatever's next, whether that's a dance with your grandkids, a trip to the store, or just a peaceful day at home. I'd love to know what you think. Have you tried warming up your legs, or maybe you've got a favorite stretch that's worked wonders? Share it in the comments. I bet someone out there could use your wisdom. And if this has sparked something for you, give it a thumbs up. It lets me know you're along for the ride. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because we're here with more simple, down-to-earth tips to help you feel your best at any age. Here's the truth. Your legs might need a little extra love as time goes on, but they've got so much left to give. Every sip of water, every gentle stretch, every warm moment is a way to say you're still in this, strong, capable, and ready for the road ahead. So here's to legs that carry you with pride, to days without cramps, and to the joy of knowing you've got this. Keep shining, you're amazing.